Hello, Jordan.
What's up, Michael?
Just making sure I got the right mic. I have the right mic. How we doing?
Dude, I'm doing great. I'm doing really well. How are you?
I'm good, bro. You see this pimple in the middle of my forehead?
Can't not see it. That is.
All right. So let me give you a little context. For 20 years approximately, a little less than that, 15 to 18 years, I basically have had zero skin issues, thankfully.
Okay.
I don't do anything. I don't wash my face. I literally don't do anything. I don't have a routine. I don't lotion, moisturize. Back in the day, like senior year of high school and a couple years in college, I had bad skin. But after that, just no skin issues whatsoever. So I start getting like a couple pimples on my hairline and then this one in the middle of my forehead that I just assume would go away. Like, I don't know what that is, but it'll probably go away. So I wait a day, wait 2 days, and it becomes like more and more of a whitehead. Not, there's deep pimples that are under the skin and hurt to touch. It's not like that. This is like your classic 16, 17-year-old whitehead, but it just kept getting whiter and whiter. I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to pop this thing. We got a podcast in an hour. So I was just waiting for it to go away. It never went away. And I popped it. And now it's just a red mark, whatever. But in the process, I grokked. I was like, what are the main factors that would cause someone to get pimples or like blemishes or skin issues after not having them? And it listed the 5 or 6 most common things, and I didn't relate to any of them. But one of them was hormonal changes. I was like, that's kind of interesting. And then I remembered something. I don't remember if we talked about this or not, but I then asked Grok, can you reference any studies about male hormonal changes while his wife is pregnant? Bro, all this PubMed, all this research, 20 to 50% decrease in total test in men living with a pregnant woman. And so I think I'm just low T right now. The good news is that after
Low T, high born, E?
Probably. Very likely.
Do you feel more emotional?
I kind of do. I actually kind of do.
Is it, you think it's a good thing?
On an evolutionary basis, yes.
Oh,
I understand
you have more
it.
empathy and more caring for your wife.
Yeah, and like 30,000 years ago, you don't want, or 10,000, whatever time period you want to pick, you don't want the father to be out spreading his seed and leaving his offspring behind, right? You want to decrease, like, I feel like that's a big one. The care and support and nurturing that woman and baby need are at play there too.
Makes total sense.
But yeah, I'm low T.
Low T, high E, big P on the forehead.
Jordan the rapper. Freestyling. Something I read said it doesn't get back to baseline until 12 to 18 months post.
Oh, interesting.
Which would be wild. That can't be right.
I mean, I don't know. My T's pretty good. And I've had my wife be pregnant twice. Her 2 daughters, definitely a high E house.
Your E's been high from the last 3 years to the prior time knowing you.
Yeah, for sure.
We've joked about that.
Yeah, that's true.
You're lucky to have Curtis because then you have some male energy in the house with you.
But he has even female energy, to be honest.
Yeah, well, then I don't know what to tell you.
It is what it is. It's good.
It's interesting, though, because it's under-discussed.
Yeah.
You would think working in the fitness industry, you would have heard more of that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Maybe because it's a small segment of time in the grand scheme of things that people aren't really focused on it.
I think there's that. I also feel like it's only recently, if we look at the online fitness industry, in the grand scheme of the world, it's a very small period of time that it's been online. And then an even smaller period of time in which people have really been openly sharing about what's going on in their life. Like, I mean, even now on social media, it is relatively common to see women sharing about a miscarriage. And I love how it's becoming more common for women to discuss this, because every time I see a woman discussing it and how painful it is and how horrible it is, the comment section are filled with other women sort of relating to one another and helping one another grieve. Be like, I went through this, I went through this, I went through this. And it's within the last few years that this has become more commonplace for women to share that. And I think that in terms of the male side of things, I think the male side of what it's like to be a male as your partner, or as your wife, as your girlfriend, or whomever is being pregnant, like it's still pretty, like, not, you don't see it discussed very much at all. So I think in terms of the grand scheme of being in online fitness, sharing about your personal life, we're still in such a new phase of actually people being open about what's going on. So it makes sense to me that this isn't something that people have really shared about or discussed very much, at least publicly.
That's an interesting take. I was thinking just the pure data and biology of the hormonal change, but the way that it blends into like people sharing their own personal stories and what's going on with them, that makes sense.
I mean, even research is done based off of what people are interested in, right? So, I mean, even if we look back in the most fitness research done pre-2000s was really done on endurance athletes. Like, you don't really see much bodybuilder focused fitness research until within the last 15 years, right? Mm-hmm. There's not that much bodybuilder research until you get bodybuilders who are now involved in the research. Before, it was like, hey, endurance stuff, the cyclists, all that. That's where most of the fitness, and that's why people were like, you want this amount of high carbohydrates, relatively low protein, because it was all based on endurance athletes. And so I think people will research what they're interested in, and people will talk about what they're interested in. But I think what people are becoming interested in now, as people discuss more and more and more openly, people are opening new doors to being interested in new things and new avenues, because people are being more vocal about it and more vulnerable and sharing whatever's going on in their life.
All right. Jordan's not surprised that it's not common knowledge. I'm surprised.
It's not surprising. I mean, it's honestly very interesting to me.
Yeah, same.
It almost feels like it should go the way you explained it makes sense, right? Like, you'd want that as a biological response, but I could also see it wanting to go the other way, where it's like, you need to protect, you need to provide, you need to make sure that like everyone is safe. Like, I could see it going like, oh no, T should go up, so that like you're ultra protective. But like,
I almost think it's an evolutionary argument for what the bigger risk is. Is the bigger risk home invasion, or is the bigger risk like a dad flying off the handle domestically, you know?
That, or like it, and the dad just not being there.
Yeah.
The dad is supposed to be there. You're not supposed to have a father leaving the home.
Absolutely. Evidence leads towards individual variation influenced by factors like stress, sleep, emotional bonding. It seems like, where was it? Somewhere in here it said something to the effect of men who are like gone more often basically don't see the same decline.
Makes total sense.
Yeah. So work from home's really got our E charged up.
Yeah, it's so funny. I got off a podcast earlier today, and I walk out the door, and the first thing I see is my 2.5-year-old just running right up to me and giving me a big hug, and she's in her little dress. Just like go from work mode immediately into like father of a daughter mode. Like, literally just the door, open the door, boom. And it's great. It's like such an incredible blessing where you can be right there when they need you, and you don't have to go through commute time and all that stuff. But yeah, I would imagine it would be different if I was going to an office and had to commute and had to go through all that stuff, and I wasn't here all day. It would definitely be different.
Yeah. You're good at that too. That Tom Platz quote about flipping a switch from wanting to kill everyone to being like a great family man. He's like, you need to develop that like a light switch.
Yeah.
He was talking about the intensity of training required to get to the level he got, but then to be able to maintain relationships, etc., and hold it as like two different personalities.
You know what's interesting, and I have zero scientific research to support this, but I have heard it mentioned a fair amount, is that men, because the man the man determines the gender of the child, right? So the man will determine if it's going to be a boy or a girl, essentially, because the woman has the X, and then the male sperm will either have an X or a Y, right? Depending on just whatever. And from what I've heard, I have not researched this, but from what I heard is higher testosterone men are more likely to have girls, whereas lower testosterone men are more likely to have boys.
We got a lot of confirmation bias baked into this one.
A lot. Both of us have girls. Yeah. But like evolutionarily, that's very interesting. Like, why would that be? We'll just assume that's true. We'll assume who knows? Maybe it's not. But let's just play the game. Why would that be the case? Higher test dudes more likely to have girls. Lower test dudes more likely to have boys.
Man, I'm in a position where I don't know how to answer this.
I mean, your buddy Bear, super high T, 5 girls.
Oh, I agree with you on the potential mechanism. I just don't know how to walk the line between this thing that I haven't fully thought through and truths that would be very uncomfortable that we wouldn't say publicly. So I'm not even going to start exploring this because I don't have the mental bandwidth to walk that line today.
Got it. That's fair.
Do you have any
objective assessment?
Do you have any theories?
No, because all my theories go, it's backwards. I would have thought it would have been the opposite. But I would have thought higher T more likely to have dudes, lower T more likely to have girls. That's what like my gut would have told me. But if this is correct, then I'm completely wrong. So I don't really know. It almost seems like more dangerous for lower T dudes to be having dudes, and it seems like that seems like more evolutionarily dangerous. You know what I mean?
Not fully. No. One, because the dude eventually becomes the man of the house, and so if you have a lower T dad, you're getting like extra T from the son. Modeling what a proper relationship looks like for a daughter is important in her development, and you can draw whatever.
That makes the most sense to me. That makes the most sense to me, where it's like, because I very much view my role as a father of daughters. One of the things is to show my daughters what a good husband acts like
and what a good man acts like.
Right. And women are really the choosers, if that makes sense. Like the women will decide who they're going to date and who they're not going to date, and they really are like the gatekeepers of sex. And so it's for the woman to
because sorry to cut you off, but because the cost, like evolutionarily, the cost of sex was so much more expensive for women.
Correct.
Nine months, like you're carrying a baby. For a guy,
you have to take
nothing.
care of the baby. Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
In, out, done. That's it. Yeah, correct. It's much more dangerous. Like you said, the cost is much higher. The risk is much higher. So it does make sense having the higher T guy having daughters to teach them how to choose the best guy for them is probably that makes a lot of sense to me, framing it that way.
Yeah. And I still don't know if it's true, the theory.
Makes sense.
I have some high T buddies who have sons, and there's low T guys out there who have daughters. But yes, for confirmation bias, and you and I, we're completely going to continue to roll with it. I just wanted to give a little kudos to...
Just going to have all daughters.
Maybe.
I just love that your buddy has 5 daughters.
He's a beast. And makes it look so easy. It's actually incredible.
Yeah.
Like him and his wife just are on another level.
It's incredible.
Do you have anything interesting?
Oh, watching two. I just finished a really great movie, and I'm in the middle of watching a great show right now.
Okay.
The movie is called Patriots Day with Mark Wahlberg about the Boston bombing.
Okay.
So for me, the Boston Marathon bombing is like, it's a core memory, not only because I'm from Boston and all that, but also because the Boston bombing, I was at school. I was at University of Delaware. My girlfriend at the time lived in Boston, and she was at the marathon when that happened. And I was at school, and my buddy Kyle comes up to me, and he was like, "Hey man, did you hear there was a bomb that went off at the marathon?" And I was like, "What?" And I'm like trying to call my girlfriend, and she's not picking up, and I'm freaking out. I drove from Newark, Delaware, to Boston. It's a 7-hour drive.
Wow.
Just because I was like, I don't know what's going on. And so it's a core, and I get there, and I don't know how much you know about the Boston bombing, but like they immediately start searching for these people. So I'm going through checkpoints as I'm driving into the city, as I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to go. There is a manhunt for these terrorists, and I'm like driving through this manhunt. So super core memory for me. But this movie with Mark Wahlberg, they not only act and portray many of the victims of the bombing, but they actually bring in some of the victims of the bombing at the end of the movie and have them talk. And extraordinary. It reminded me of Lone Survivor from the perspective of how well done it was, how realistic it was, actually showcasing police officers and detectives and people who were family members of them and actual victims of it. They did such an incredible job. That movie it's extraordinary. So I just finished that. Highly recommend. Do you remember that bombing? Like, was that probably not as big of a thing for you because you weren't there, or like just...
Very, very vaguely. Was it 2013?
2013, yeah, 2013.
Yeah, I remember being in the gym and seeing on the TVs when it was happening. I don't remember much else beyond that.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if it happened in Minnesota, I wouldn't have been like, I wasn't there. That makes total sense. The other movie,
7.3 IMDb, by the way.
Yeah, I highly recommend. I think it was fantastic. The other one, this is really good. So this is like a historical fiction. Maybe a little bit of historical science fiction. It's called All the Light We Cannot See. It's about World War II, Nazi-occupied France, and it's stories of I don't want to give away too much, but there is some fantasy involved, some science fiction involved, but it's stories of what it was like to be in Nazi-occupied France right before the Allies come and retake Germany and retake France, excuse me. And it's super good. It's really, really good. Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Couple fiction shout outs there from Jordan. I like that. Might have to become a recurring segment on the pod.
Dude, let's do it. You watching anything good or reading anything good?
I'm watching something. Not anything good, but I'm watching something.
Okay, what are you watching?
Gossip Girl. Season 6.
This is crazy. I didn't realize. So, for context, you and your wife alternate who chooses which show, whatever you're watching. You guys go by series, which I just learned this the other day. So you watched 6 seasons of Gossip Girl on her choice, which is incredible.
Yeah.
But like, I would have thought you'd go season by season, one season Gossip Girl, then you choose one season of something, but you go by series. So you literally will watch the entire series together before now you get a turn.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right. I don't have any interest in watching one season of something and then watching one season of something else, then that just feels like program hoppy to me. Like, I'm not going to do 3 weeks of Mike's training program and then 3 weeks of Jordan's and then jump over to that. Like, no, I'm going to do the program. And yeah, it's a grind. Gossip Girl's been it gets worse. That's the worst part is in seasons 3 and 4, like in the middle, there's some drama. It's in New York City. I told you this. I think we talked about it on the podcast once before. I like seeing the interaction between fictional characters in a lot of shows because it helps me understand people better. That's about the extent of it. I mean, Chuck Bass is a great character. That's about the extent of the positives, right?
Got it.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. Season 6 is only 10 episodes though.
Oh, nice. Okay. So you're almost done.
Almost done.
And you're going to go back to
Game of Thrones? Yeah, maybe.
I feel like we have different tastes in shows. I would like recommend something, but I feel like it wouldn't be.
I mean, Prison Break season 1 was incredible.
Oh my gosh. One of the greatest seasons of TV ever.
That was an awesome recommendation by you. Season 2, just every episode ended in like a heart attack. It's like very stressful. I was like, I don't need this before bed every single night. Something more chill would be ideal. I also have come to realize there aren't that many good shows, and I would rather rewatch a really good show multiple times than watch a show that's not very good.
Yeah.
We watched the show called The Bear. It's like set in Chicago, 3 seasons. It's about a family-owned restaurant. Wish I didn't watch it. 3 seasons. Like it's a lot of hours. And so just taking a chance on, oh, hey, you should watch this. It's like, I'm going to do my research or rewatch really good stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you? I think I told you about The Man in the High Castle.
I told you about The Man in the High Castle in 2017. You just because you're the World War II guy between the two of us doesn't mean you get every.
Oh, you did tell me about that. Wow, you did. Did you watch it?
Of course.
Okay. All right. Yep.
And I know because I heard about it from my friend Greg Schmidt.
Schmitty.
Shout out Greg. It was funny yesterday. You asked what we were watching. I said Gossip Girl. You started laughing. You said, that has to be the lowest T thing that you do in your whole life. He's watching Gossip Girl. And not to continue to spend this much time on this subject, but why not? For people who haven't seen the show and just think like, oh, it's probably like a teeny bopper drama, like dumb type of show. Yes, that's right. That's exactly right. They're like not great people in the show. There's no like overarching theme. The character development of most of the individuals isn't strong. Like we're not taking a lot from it. There's no Jon Snow character in here. You're right. But people get confused and assign that label to all shows within the genre. So if you ask most people who haven't seen it, they would say One Tree Hill is the exact same thing. Whereas One Tree Hill...
You love One Tree Hill.
It's an unbelievable show. It's an unbelievable... Have you seen it?
No, but I've thought about it because every time you talk about it, for you to say it's an unbelievable show, like I actually know that there must be some really great messaging and character development and great storytelling.
Music. The music is incredible. The first 3 seasons and maybe first 4 seasons, I guess, are really high quality. And then they do this thing where they skip the college years and they go on and they're adults and that's fine too. But the first 3 to 4 seasons are very good in terms of all of the things I just described Gossip Girl not having.
I need to watch The Sopranos. That's something that I've never watched and everyone is always like, what is wrong with you?
I've tried 3 times. Never made it out of season 1.
Really? Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. You would like The Wire. The Wire's a very good show.
What's that about?
Detective work in Baltimore.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's unanimously top 5 show of all time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that'll be my next show then.
You know the archetype I find interesting, shifting from one archetype to another? The person who, and no disrespect, because we all need vices. We all need vices. No, we don't all need vices. Almost all of us seem to have vices, so no judgment here. But it's an interesting archetype, the person who is very meticulous with the granola lifestyle, quote unquote, with preservatives and food dyes and seed oils and like all of these interesting little one-offs to be a healthier person that are very important to them. But then they house like 40 drinks a week.
Yeah. it makes no sense whatsoever.
It makes no sense. Like you could almost trade all of the other things for the alcohol and see a benefit in health outcomes.
100% without question. Completely agree. And then often if they're also getting Botox and it's like you're not okay with canola oil, but you're going to inject this filler into your skin. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, and again, I have no problem with it. I have no issue with it, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't make sense that you're not okay with, God forbid, cooking with canola oil, but you are okay with literally injecting this into your fucking skin.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's another one. Another one. I see the granola archetype, and this could be my lack of internet usage, as different than the Botox mom archetype. Those seem like they don't overlap, but maybe they do.
I think in LA, they overlap. In LA, they overlap. In LA, they'll be like, I only have this organic chai matcha. I only shop at Whole Foods, and I'm also going to my yoga class, and it's sweating out all the toxins. And after I sweat all the toxins, I have my Botox appointment and lip filler appointment.
That's very astute by you. That is, they do overlap in LA.
I've been super into olive oil lately.
Really?
Dude, it's a new obsession.
Talk to me.
So it started with me just it started actually from nostalgia, because in Israel there's just it's a Mediterranean diet. There's a lot of olive oil, dipping it and I was just like, oh, you know what? I'll get the olive oil out, and there's this amazing spice called za'atar. Put it in the olive oil and I'll dip like carrots or bread or whatever. I'll dip it in there. So I started doing that a couple months ago, and it literally became the part of my day food-wise that I looked forward to the most, where I was like, I'm going to just take a couple tablespoons olive oil, put it on the table. My wife and I will eat it together. And I was like, became the best part of my day food-wise that I looked forward to all day. And then I started doing it as a snack, where I was like, okay, before we have dinner together, I'm going to have this, and I'll put it on a little plate and I'll just have it myself. And like, as soon as I had it, I felt so good. I was in a better mood. And it was a great way for me to start incorporating like more fresh vegetables, more fresh fruits, having some peppers, some onions, carrots, and with the olive oil and za'atar, I put some lemon in it. Just amazing. It just like, it felt really, really good. And then I started diving into, the quality of olive oils. And I started things that I had never really thought about before, because I would just take the olive oil we had and I would use it. And it was great. And then I started grokking olive oil stuff. And it took me down a rabbit hole that I never expected to go down, in terms of quality of olive oil, taste of different olive oils, which olives they're using from where in the world, whether it's Spain, whether it's Italy. Dude, there's a lot of olive oil controversy. I didn't even realize about some countries essentially white labeling their olive oils to other countries. And like, dude, there's like a whole fucking olive oil like mafia. No, it's crazy. I had no idea about any of this. But then I'm getting into what makes olive oil high quality, in terms of which olives are used, how it's processed, how it's stored, how long it is, how long they store it for, and then you could look at the taste of it. You could look at the polyphenol content. You could look, like, there are so many different things that make it higher or lower quality. And so I spent $100. It was like $97 on a 3-pack of olive oil.
How big are the bottles?
250 milliliters. So it's like this 3-pack of olive oil. And number one, I'm just eating a lot of olive oil right now. I'm just really enjoying it. But also, I feel like since I've started doing it, my skin has felt so much better.
Like the dryness?
Yeah, dude. The dryness of my skin has felt exponentially better.
Nice.
And I'm excited because I've been doing this for a couple months now, and I'm really ramping it up now. I'm excited to see my blood work. I'm excited to see my blood work the next time I take it, to see if that's had any changes on cholesterol, ApoB, inflammation.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to see if it's made a difference or not. But yeah, I do think that it's been the one part of my day food wise that I actually really look forward to from a food perspective, which I haven't had that in my life in a long time. There's never been like a part of my day where I've really looked forward to eating a specific food. Like I've looked forward to meals, to sit down with my wife and girls, to go grab a meal with you, but like for the actual specific purpose of enjoying the food in and of itself, I haven't had that in a really long time. So it's been fun to have that.
Nice, man. Olive oil's great.
Yeah.
Delicious and very healthy. How far are you from, or do you already have
My own company, my own olive oil company?
I was going to say your own code.
No, I don't have that. I don't have that.
Yet.
I don't have. No, I'm probably not going to go down that route. You know what I would do? If I was going to go down that route, I wouldn't do it under my name and face. I would do it under like a different, full on different company, different entity. And obviously I would promote it through my current brand, but I wouldn't do it anything related to Jordan Syatt at all whatsoever.
It wouldn't be the always optimal olive oil.
It'd be the Italiano from the Jewish guy.
Great olive oil I just stumbled across. Not sure who makes it.
You're a big olive oil guy too.
I do really like olive oil.
Do you think you have it every day?
Close.
Do you cook with it, or is it you have it raw?
I mean, if I'm going out to eat at somewhere where I'm dipping bread in olive oil,
Yeah.
but we don't do that at home. On any roasted vegetable that goes in the oven, olive oil is being used. I guess it is an olive oil cooking spray that I use for eggs, but you're getting like 8
minuscule
grams.
amounts. Yeah.
Yeah. Depending how long I hold it. Sometimes I give it a nice long hold if I want a little extra, That used to be killer content back in the day.
Yeah.
Did you know Pam is not zero fat because there's 473 servings per container, which is true.
People are like, how is this allowed? This is crazy. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Sick content though, right?
Right? Yeah, close to every single day, but I haven't gone down any rabbit holes yet. If you can sell me on one olive oil being substantially better and justifying a higher price than another. I feel like the Costco olive oil is very, very high quality.
No, to be very blunt with you, the more expensive one doesn't taste as good as the less expensive one. But I was grokking it. I was like, this tastes. It's like a sharper, a little bit more bitterness to it. And it was like, yes, that's how you know you got a higher quality olive oil. And it was like, because like they're picked when they're more fresh, and when they're more fresh, like if you ever had like a really, really ripe olive, it doesn't taste as good as often an olive that isn't as ripe, which is interesting. It's like, it's a little bit more bitter. And I was like, okay, I think I like it when it's not it's not as high quality. I think I like the flavor better. So I probably won't be spending this much money on olive oil once these super expensive ones are over. I'll probably go to one that might be traditionally considered lower quality. Or you know what one I really like? I love the olive oils that are flavored. So like I like the one with the favorite olive oil that I've ever had is one with like a red chili pepper in it that makes it a little bit spicy. They also sell olive oil with like garlic or onion in it. And so that's what I love. And I don't know if I haven't looked into if they have like quote unquote super high quality ones like that. But my favorite one is like flavored olive oil with a red chili pepper in it or garlic or onion. So that's probably what I'll go to.
Keep us updated on your
olive oil journey.
In your olive oil era. Yes. All right. I have an interesting coaching thought that is, I would say earlier on in my career, I made this mistake, which is giving a client, let me back up. There's a balance between letting a client do what they want to do because enjoyment, is going to improve adherence, is going to improve long-term sustainability of the program. So even if it's not absolutely optimal, if it's a preference of the client, it can be a certain exercise, it can be anything. Letting them do it, even though it's not optimal, is a good idea. However, you need to balance that with, and it's the coach's responsibility to not allow a client to do something that is going to be detrimental, let them get hurt is like an obvious example. But really just the balance between enjoyment, which makes fitness better for them and makes it more sustainable long-term, versus the right thing to do. And I've just seen so many examples of times when coaches were too far to the left or too far to the right on that balance. I thought it was an interesting subject. And to give a couple examples, maybe, you could have a client who is trying to gain strength and lose fat and is, not sleeping that much, has a family, works full time, but they're a go type of person. And they want to do, they want to be in the gym every single day. And it's your responsibility as the coach not to let them go hard every single day like this person wants to.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone who has been having low back issues and you have them doing XYZ for it or seeing this person for it or whatever it might be. But they really like ABC exercises that historically lead to them having low back issues. It's like, I know you want to get your whatever. I know you want to rack pull 600, but right now that's not the best strategy. Oh, my back feels great. Yeah, but 3 weeks ago it didn't. And it's been a recurring thing. Basically, I don't know. Do you understand where I'm going with this?
Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts on how to handle it? Or like, what do you think you see coaches, what mistakes are they making around this? Or how would you approach it?
I think the two biggest mistakes are the drill sergeant style coach who won't let a client do anything extra, anything fun, anything off the program. Hey, is it cool if I throw in a couple extra sets of curls at the end of the workout? I'm trying to get my arms up. No, we have the exact right amount of volume right now. No extra curls ever. The other side of the coin is the coach who oftentimes is afraid to rock the boat, is afraid that if you set boundaries that the client is going to cancel on you or not going to like you. And so you let them run wild with any extra stuff. Hey, Lucy, my coworker, is doing Orange Theory, so I'm going to start doing that every day at 6 a.m. But don't worry, I'm going to do our strength work at 5 a.m. before it. But the extra 7 hours a week of Orange Theory, is really going to tone my glutes. And the coach being like, I don't want to. Okay, yeah, that works. Have fun at Orange Theory. Versus explaining, hey, maybe if you want to do a class or two per week, but doing it every day doesn't make sense, etc.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super important topic, and I'm glad you brought it up. I think it's one of those things where the way you approach it has to be dependent on the client. Where it's like, if I have a client who, let me try and just sort of build a client right now. Let's say I've got a client, woman, 45 years old, and classic overtraining, like just constantly doing more and more and more, and constantly frustrated with a lack of progress, which is the important caveat here. The person who's like, not only are they working hard, but always being like, oh, I'm just not building muscle in my glutes. I'm not doing this. And oh, by the way, my coworker is going to start doing Orange Theory. So I'm going to add that to my already like packed training schedule. I'm also going to add that. That's where you'd approach it and be like, hey, listen, I'm your coach first and foremost. So I'm going to treat you like a client right now. And I'm going to say something because I really care about you. And if I didn't say this, I wouldn't be a good coach. Obviously, you're an adult and you can choose whatever you want to do. It's entirely up to you. I don't think this is a good idea. I think you're already doing too much. I think that adding this is not only is it not going to help, I think it will actively hurt. and specifically it will hurt you from reaching the goal that you've told me, which is to build more glutes, right? I think this is going to harm you. It will not help. It will actively hurt. Whereas on the other hand, you have someone who's like, let's say woman, 45 years old, who the exact same woman and the exact same overworker, but doesn't have a very specific goal of really wanting to build muscle in her glutes, and is more just like, I just love working out. It makes me so happy. This is what I want to do. And not complaining about her lack of progress, not complaining about not building, literally just like, oh, the more I can do, like, I love it. It makes me so much happier. This is wonderful. Hey, I'm going to start adding some Orange Theory. I'm like, cool. Go for it. If you enjoy it, great. That's fantastic. Be careful. Like, you're already doing a lot. I wouldn't go super, super intense on every single session. But if this is what you enjoy and awesome. Go for it. It really, it's not even just about the gender. It's not about the age. It's not about even necessarily about what or how much they're doing. It's so much about their goal and what is their reaction to that goal. Because if I have a client who's chronically complaining, I'm going to give way more tough love to that client than the person who's just like, all's good. Like, what else can I do? That person, I'm going to be a little bit more, give them more leeway.
Yeah, that's a great point. It has to vary from person to person and situation to situation.
Or if I have someone who's competing in something, maybe they're really happy, but like they're a competitor and they also want to like be the best. Which, to be fair, very rarely have I ever had a competitor who's serious about competing who's also just like always happy with their progress. Like, most competitors are really tough on themselves and always want to be improving. So this might be a completely made up situation. But if I have a competitor who just seems to be pretty content and they're also competing, I'll push the boundaries a little bit there too. I'll be like, hey, you're competing. Stop doing so much. Like, stop doing, you're competing in this. You want to stand on stage for physique. Why are you also running a marathon? Stop. Like, wait until this is over if you want to go down that route. But again, the most important thing is look at their progress and their happiness with their progress. That's going to have such an important deciding factor with how you approach it.
It's such a good point. And most of the time, the clients who want to do more for the love of doing more, it makes complete sense for them to do it. Hey, I want to do a triathlon because I just learned how to swim, and I've been doing some running, and the cardio has me feeling really good physically and mentally. And why not put something on the calendar out there? Amazing. Mm-hmm. Versus the client who's like, this isn't working. I'm not happy with my body. I'm not losing weight as fast as I want to. I'm going to do a triathlon because that's going to help me see more progress. That person, it's like, no, you're not. You absolutely are not. And I think there's a temptation for some coaches to let them out of fear of rocking the boat. Mm-hmm. But do the triathlon. Go for it.
No. Are you stupid? Absolutely not. Yeah, because one is doing it for the love of the game. The other is doing it because out of a fear response, or like, I feel like I need to do this in order to make progress. It's two very different reasons for why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rapid fire Q&A.
37, single, no kids. How do I find meaning in life at this stage when every day seems the same? This is a dude asking.
I can empathize very deeply with being in that position, just at a different age, and putting meaning in all the wrong places, like accolades and money and notoriety, meaningless relationship, casual relationships, whatever you want to call them, short-term, shallow relationships. Mm-hmm. I'm not qualified to speak on this.
You don't have to, this is like the Douglas Murray, Dave Smith debate. You don't have to be an expert to give your thoughts on something.
I'd like to sit down with this individual and have a conversation. I think that would be more interesting and could give more specific feedback and guidance. I think seeking truth is always
I'll send them your phone number.
A good thing in life. Okay. Please do. uh, yeah, I think trying to figure out what's true is a path that leads to meaning. Um, this is cliche, but works. Helping others leads to meaning, and whether that is one person who's having a rough time and you go have coffee with them and doing it on a one-to-one basis or doing it at scale.
There's something he said that is interesting to me. It almost seems out of place in the comment/question. 37, single, no kids. How do I find meaning in life at this stage when every day seems the same? It's that last bit that stands out to me, when every day seems the same. Also like I'm glad that he used this last bit, because I think there's a lot to discuss just with that. Number one, I think nowadays with social media and people posting their highlight reels, we often think other people have crazy things happening in their life all the time, and every day is supposed to be new and exciting and different and unique. And it's like, listen, every day is a blessing, and every day that you wake up, like, thank God. But boring is good. Boring and repetitive is good. I think it's healthy. If every day is so crazy and exciting and just a burst of emotions, I think that's not normal, and it's that's not what you should expect. With that being said, if every day is the same and you're getting the same results in anything, whether it's relationships, business, whatever, fitness, you have to change something. So now going to practically, what do you do? How do you find meaning? I like your suggestion of helping people. Like, if you can go and, I don't know, go to a soup kitchen, go volunteer somewhere, go do a mission trip with your church or your synagogue or your mosque. Like, go. If you want life to be different, then you need to start doing different things. And you need to start putting yourself in situations that you haven't put yourself in before. And while also understanding, again, boring and repetition is normal. But if you're seeing the same people and not meeting anybody new, and you want to meet a partner, and you want to have a wife, and you want to have kids, and you also want to meet someone with the same values as you, then put yourself in situations in which those values have the opportunity to shine in someone else. Mm-hmm. So, like, if you want to help people and if you want to find meaning, I think helping people is one of the best things you can do. Mm-hmm. So put yourself in situations in which you can help people, which is going to make it difficult. You're going to have a difficult situation on, well, fine, where am I going to help people? Go to Grok, go to ChatGPT, go to Google, find areas where you can go and help people. Volunteer your time, volunteer your expertise, and meet people who are doing similar things. That I think is the number one thing. You have to put yourself in a different situation so you have an opportunity to create new situations. It's not just going to happen. You have to create it. And through that very difficult process and through the adversity of going through that, that's when you find more meaning. You don't find meaning by doing nothing.
For most people, I agree. Unless you're, it's the old, like, go to the top of a mountain and meditate for your whole life versus be in motion and action and chopping weeds.
Yeah.
Cutting the head off the hydra and 3 more grow. So then you cut those heads off. But it's better to have problems and solve them than to never have problems at all.
Yeah, correct. And I don't think...
You're very anti-meditation.
I'm not anti-meditation, but you know what's interesting is I remember I read that book by Nora Vincent, the woman who pretended to be a man. Mm-hmm. One of the places she went was to, like, one of these monasteries, these all-dude monasteries. And she was there for a while. And a lot of the dudes who were there for 20, 30 plus years. But even in these places where, like, they're all by themselves and they spend a huge portion of their day in meditation and in solitude, there are issues even among them. Like, there's drama even among them. So even in these, like, unless you're literally all by yourself, in complete solitude, not interacting with anybody else, even then you're going to have issues internally. But, like, if you're having any form of interaction, there's always going to be some problem that you can solve, someone that you can help, always, no matter where you are. Granted, I don't think going into the Tibetan mountains for the rest of your life is a good strategy for life in general. I think, yeah, go for a vacation or go for like a month or whatever it is to learn more about yourself, learn how to be in stillness and silence. Great. I wouldn't do it, but like, welcome. Like, you're welcome to give it a shot.
Learn how to be in stillness. Silent. Great. Not for me.
Not for me. I'm not doing it. But I do think that finding ways to push outside your comfort zone and put yourself in these situations, like, that's how you find meaning. That's how you find meaning.
Well said. Clips Nation. I think an additional strategy you can take that has a lot of overlap with what Jordan said is to take a moral inventory of yourself and your life and who you are, and make a real honest assessment of how you're living compared to what your ideal values are, and move towards being the type of person you actually want to be. So if you feel like every day is repetitive, that's going to put you in some real uncomfortable situations. Oh shoot, I remember the time 6 years ago I like said this with this person, and you know what? I'm just going to call him and see how he's doing and apologize. I have found through periods of my life where I went more internal and made like being a better person a top priority, that there was meaning in that. Maybe not the optimal meaning in life, but directionally correct. And if you're having these boring, repetitive days, something like that would break you out of the pattern you're in.
Yeah. Love that.
That was a good question.
Why do people worry about how they look rather than their health?
So, respectfully, I think the question operates on a false premise. I don't think there are definitely people who worry about how they look and don't worry about their health at all. But I would argue it's a subset of the population. I think a lot of people, most people maybe, probably worry about both. And then some people are more focused on just one of those. So I guess we can say for the people who worry about how they look and don't care about their health, why do they do that?
Here's what I think. I think, number one, generally speaking, what we'll see is, this is generalities, all right, people, so relax. Generally, younger people will care more about how they look, less about how their health is. And as you get older, it transitions into more about your health and less about how you look. I think that's generally what we see. The reason I think that we see that is because the older you get, it's not because you just care less what people think. I think it's because as you get older, you become much more aware of your own mortality, and you become much more aware of the risks of being unhealthy and what that actually means in your life. It's sort of like, it's just your perspective shifts. So it's like people in America right now, okay? People in America very often, some people who live in America, they hate America. And they think it's a terrible place. And they think they're worried about things that mean essentially nothing. Like what people call them, or just they get so worried about things. They have so much freedom and so much good in their life that they focus on these problems, that if you go to a war-torn country, that if you go to a country where people there's an actual war, there's actual a gender apartheid, there's a real apartheid, there's real like violence beyond which you could ever imagine, you don't worry about that shit because life is so bad that you only worry about the things that really, really matter. Whereas when you live in this environment in which things are so good and so incredible that you have the privilege to think that you live in this horrible environment. You have the freedom to think that you live in this horrible environment. And so I think that's what we see is when people are younger and they have the privilege of health and they have the audacity to just assume health is a given, that I'm how could I possibly not be healthy? It's not even in their mind. It's like, well, I'm going to focus on how I look because what else is there to focus on? But as soon as something happens, a friend dies, someone gets cancer, something happens to them to where now their health becomes a question. Ooh, now we start focusing on that. Now, you know what? I don't care as much about having a six pack, not because I don't care what people think about me, but because I could actually die because my health could deteriorate or my health has already started to deteriorate. You've been met with a perspective of, oh, this isn't a given. What I've had thus far is a privilege, and now I need to focus on maintaining and or improving it. That's why I think some people will focus on, they only care about how they look, not their health, because they haven't been met yet with something that actually requires them to see or forces them to look in the mirror and say, fuck, I could not be healthy, and this is what this would look like. As soon as people are met with that reality, shit changes fast.
Clips Nation. Great answer. Really good analogy to go with it too. A la America in its present form. Yeah, people gain wisdom with age, and part of that wisdom is the understanding that health is more important than aesthetics. I think alongside the life experience and wisdom that teaches people that, I think their own lived experience also shows them that. Meaning, when you're 20, you can get away with anything. Like, you can get away with a lot nutritionally. You can get away with a lot training wise. You can make a lot of mistakes. Your body's more durable compared to when you're 40 or when you're 60 or when you're 80. You need to make better decisions because you can't get away with as much.
I remember the first time I hurt my back. Before the first time I ever hurt my back, I couldn't understand, like, back pain didn't make sense. Like, someone not being able to run or not being, like, why? Like, just fucking do it. You know what I mean? And then the first time I threw my back out when I was in high school, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I literally, getting out of bed is a fucking problem. Like, doing everything I normally do is a problem. It's almost like you take being healthy for granted until all of a sudden you've got a really stuffy nose. All of a sudden you can't breathe out of your nose properly, and you're like, oh, I would give anything to feel like I do on a regular day, on a normal day.
Stomach flu.
But even, I mean, like a mild thing, even a fucking hangnail. You've got ow, ooh, the hangnail, like it's like it hurt, you know, all of a sudden you're like this little thing that stings and it's bothering you. It's like what I would give to just not have this one minor annoyance, but magnify that now by a real health issue. Now all of a sudden, okay, now it's a big problem. Now I need it. This takes up much more of my time, my mental energy, my focus, this is what I need to spend my time on. So again, it's not that you don't care what people think, it's that you actually care far more about how you feel than, whereas before when you just thought everything was good and nothing could go wrong, well, now you think about shit that doesn't really matter, which is what other people think. It's like you focus more on trying to impress other people rather than trying to live a better life for yourself. And that'll shift when you have more perspective.
Yeah. And just understanding that what you do and being able to do it for a long period of time is more important than how you look.
Yeah. Correct.
And by the way, there's so much overlap between health and aesthetics.
Correct.
The Venn diagram, it's under discussed in fitness today, and which makes sense because within the fitness community and certain subsets of it, there is so much body dysmorphia and like bad mental health and people trying to get too lean. And so I understand where they're disconnected, but in society, like in America at large, aesthetics and health are mostly overlapped.
Yeah, correct.
We have a sale coming up in the fitness business mentorship. It is going to be $500 off of the
That's crazy.
initiation fee.
I didn't even know it was going to be that much.
I know.
Mike unilaterally made that decision.
I sure did. Sales starts very soon. If you're not on the email list, get on the email list, because that is the first place we will notify, podcast and email list. But in case you miss an episode, you'll want to be on that email list. Link is down in the show notes. Jordan, do you have anything else?
Don't forget that when you join, not only do you get access to all of our courses, how to create systems and assessments for your clients, how to program design, nutrition coaching, client psychology and motivation, and then all sales courses and blah, blah, blah. Also, the brand new Instagram Growth Guide Volume 2.0 is live now for all the members, for all the members within the mentorship. That in and of itself is going to be worth the cost of entry, just the Instagram Growth Guide. Volume 1 is we made in 2018 or 2019. Volume 2.0 is brand new, and it goes over all the newest aspects of Instagram and how to use it to grow your business and grow to your audience and help your clients better and help potential clients better. So that in and of itself is worth the cost of admission. Never mind everything else you get access to. The weekly live Q&As, which is what we're going to do right after we hop off this podcast, is every single week we do a live Q&A. We answer everyone's questions. Then occasionally we'll do a hot seat where we'll pick one person in the mentorship who has submitted, hey, I want you to go into my social media and do a no bullshit overview for everyone to see. We do that in the mentorship as well. So if you want to join and you want to build your business, you want to be like, hey, prices in America are going up, tariffs. You know what I mean? You want to make more money. You want to get more clients. You want to be a better coach for your clients, help them get their goals. Listen, there are a ton of other mastermind guru stuff out there. You could try those, but you'll end up coming back because
that's right.
We've got the real deal.
Perfect. Have a great rest of your week. See you next Tuesday.
See ya.